Good morning, Carmel High School. Welcome back to the 22-23 school year. I'm Ms. Borto. I'm one of the assistant principals in student services. Today, we want to talk to you about behavior and expectations for the 22-23 school year. Today, you're going to hear about rules for the school and through the classroom. But before that, you need to know what our commitment is to you, and that's what you can see on the screen. We believe all students deserve the opportunity to develop their potential in order to establish and maintain responsible citizens' roles in a dynamic society. It's the shared responsibility of the school, home, and community to view education as a lifelong process. Carmel High School is committed to the pursuit of excellence, acknowledging that the quest itself is the most significant aspect of achievement. By recognizing and allowing for individual differences and special needs, Carmel High School encourages and inspires you to think intellectually, emotionally, socially, and for the benefit of society. At our core, we believe in you. We're here to make you successful adults and good citizens. We're here to foster your growth and join you on that quest for learning. And our job is to support you along that journey. In order to be successful on that journey, we ask that you display behavior becoming of a Greyhound. This is for your future and your current self. We're here to help you make good decisions for your time here at Carmel High School to set you up for success later. We want you to be the best Greyhound that you can be. In order to do that, we're going to ask you to do very simple things. It's what you see on the screen now. We're going to ask you to attend school regularly, treat others with respect and kindness, dress for success, take pride in yourself, your work, and your school, and use good judgment to represent yourself well. In the following presentation, you'll see expectations we have for you in each of these areas, who and how we can help support you, and if you're not able to meet those expectations, what those consequences are.
Hi, my name is Mrs. Wiseman, and I'm also one of your assistant principals in student services. So I'm going to give you some more specifics on those behaviors becoming of a Carmel Greyhound. So the first is attendance. It's so important that you attend school regularly. You need to be here in the building contributing to your classmates in order to learn, and it's very, very important that you're here. If you're not here in the building in class, then there are those consequences, and we'd hate for you to miss out on those wonderful privileges you have, like athletics or homecoming, prom, graduation, things like that. So if you're struggling with anything attendance related, then please make sure you reach out to one of us in student services, counseling, social worker, or even the health center if it's medical related. Now, if you do need to leave school early, a parent or guardian needs to call you in at the attendance line. We strongly encourage them to do that 24 hours in advance, so that way we can get that pass written for you, because you need to pick it up prior to your departure, and you will need that school ID to pick it up. Now, when you're here at school in the building, we want you to dress for success as you feel comfortable and express yourself. So there's just a few rules that you need to follow in our dress code in order to do that. So the first is, please make sure that your whole torso, your back, and your bottom is completely covered. And you also want to make sure that you are not promoting anything illegal or disruptive in your clothing choices. So make sure when you leave the house that you feel confident and ready for a full day of learning. It's really, really important that you do that. If you're struggling with figuring out what to wear or need some resources, you can visit any one of us in student services or counseling. If you choose not to make those good decisions, know that there are some consequences. Very simply, we'll ask you to correct that behavior and contact a parent, and then if it continues, the discipline will escalate from there. Now, when you are in the building dressed for success, we also want you to do your own personal best. So don't compare your academic ability to anyone else in the building. You are just trying to better yourself. It's really important that you are academically honest, which means that you're doing your own work. If you find yourself overwhelmed or anxious and you think it would be easier to copy someone else's work or cheat off someone, you know that there's going to be consequences, and pretty severe consequences at that. And so you will always end up having to do some type of assignment. So you're not going to get less work, you're going to get more work. So if you find that you're struggling there, make sure you reach out to your teacher, your counselor, or your social worker. The lunchroom. I hope you're all really excited to see your friends again and hang out in the lunchroom during your lunch period. And we want you to have a good time, but we need to make sure that you respect each other, but also this place, which means that you need to clean up after yourself, put those trays away, pick up that food, and encourage your peers to do the same. So if your buddy forgets something, encourage them to pick it up, and also just help each other. And finally, parking. Parking's so simple this year because everyone's going to park in the exact same spot, the Carmel High School football stadium. So please make sure that you park in the stadium. Remember, the home side and the away side, both of those lots you have access to. You need to make sure that you have your parking permit displayed. If you need to get one, you can just fill out the information online on our website and go to the activities office to pick one up. It's really important that you remember you cannot park anywhere adjacent to the school building on campus up top. And please make sure that you pay attention to all of those city street signs because many of those parking signs have changed over the summer, and we want to make sure your car's there when you return. If you need assistance, you can always come see one of us in student services or the health center if it's something to do with a medical reason for parking, and we'll be glad to help you. If you choose to park up top, there is no warning. If you park up top, you are going to receive a consequence. And so make sure that if you have an issue, you talk to us before you make that choice to park up top.
Hello, I'm Officer Rodriguez, and I'm here to talk to you about safety. You've all heard the phrase, see something, do something. So if you need to talk to a trusted adult and report something, you can always reach out to a teacher, a counselor, a coach, and any administrator. If you want to remain anonymous, you can use the Stop It app. Those always remain anonymous. Here to support you are your teachers, your counselors, your social workers, your SROs, and your administrators. Know that there are no consequences for speaking up if you see something. All reports will be anonymous. Let's talk about the building and safety expectations. Do not open any outside doors for anyone. DoorDash and any food deliveries are not allowed. There will be consequences for any food ordered to the building, and the food will not be released to you. This will result in disciplinary action. Parents or guardians will be contacted. And here to support you, remember this, we have your SROs and your administrators. Here on the screen, you'll meet your SROs. You have Officer Lytle in the main office at door 2, Officer Williams in Student Services, door 4, Officer Rogowski, door 13 in the Freshman Center, and myself, Officer Rodriguez, at door 17.
Hi, I'm Mr. Drew. I'm also one of your assistant principals in Student Services, and I just want to take a minute to talk to you a little bit about this idea of behavior becoming of a Greyhound. There's an underlying theme. And that's just to treat each other with kindness and with respect. And that goes across many different avenues, one of which I want to talk to you about is social media. We're aware, and we know it's a huge part of student life, but you have to understand as well that what you post online never goes away, and that it can have an impact on others here in the school environment. And so when you're posting something, you always need to make sure that you think it through, right? Is it true? Is it helpful? Is it inspiring? Is it necessary? And is it kind, right? And just understand that if you're having issues with things on social media, you have a support network here from your counselors to your social workers and to your administrators here. And again, with that, if there are things that are being posted that impact another student's learning environment, you have to understand that that can lead to consequences here at school. So be mindful of that and make sure you think it through. I also want to talk a little bit about restrooms. The restrooms, we want to make sure that those are for restroom use only. So these are not places for you to meet up with friends and congregate either in the common space in the restroom or in stalls. Make sure that you guys are using the restrooms for their intended purpose. And understand, again, like with before, if that becomes an issue, that can lead to consequences, parents being contacted, etc. So make sure that we are using those restrooms and keeping them open for people who need to use them. Along those same lines, we talked about treating one another with kindness, and one of the biggest ones that we want to emphasize is that we will not accept bullying, intimidation, harassment. Now, how we define that, this is no unwanted repeated acts or gestures with intent to harass, ridicule, humiliate, intimidate, or harm. And what you need to understand about this is it can take a variety of different forms, whether that's written or verbal, or whether that's in person, physically, or online in the digital world. And this can also take place not only here on campus, but off campus. And all of those things in mind, we need to make sure that this is not part of our behavior and that we are treating one another with kindness. That can lead to both school and legal consequences. And so making sure that that is not something that we're doing is very important this year. We also, just to kind of wrap up and summarize that all, I mentioned this at the beginning, we just need to be kind to one another, all right? We don't want to be bystanders. If you're hearing something, say something, whether that be to a counselor, a social worker, an administrator. You have a huge support here, and we all want this to be a great year for you at Carmel High School. And so support each other, help each other out, and if there's ever any concerns at all, don't hesitate to lean on that support network.
Good morning. We are your 1012 social workers, and we are located in the counseling office. I'm Ms. Waniger.
I'm Miss Tweedy. And I'm Miss Canope. We're here today to talk about taking care of yourself and others. One of the ways we want to talk about taking care of others is using Ask, Listen, Tell. What you can do is say you notice one of your friends or somebody in your class just is acting a little different or they seem down. I just encourage you to ask them what's going on. Ask them how they're doing, what's been happening. They may choose not to answer, or they may decide to tell you what's going on. I just want you to listen then. What they share may be something that just helps them to get it off their chest, or it may be something more serious. If it's more serious, I encourage you to reach out to one of the adults here at school, whether it's your school counselor, social worker, teacher, SRO, or an administrator. Let us take care of the situation from there. If it's something that you're worried about safety or otherwise, please feel free to come down anytime to reach out to us.
We also want to share today a little bit of the supports we provide down in the counseling office. We do both individual and group counseling, and we also have access to a plethora of resources, such as school supplies, food, or clothing. So if you or a friend needs something in that category, please come down and talk to one of us. You can also talk to your counselors, your SROs, or your administrators, and they'll connect you with one of us. There's never a consequence for taking care of yourself and others.
We're going to leave you today with one of the most valuable resources you have at Carmel High School, SSRT. This is a time for you to see teachers, get help, and make progress on schoolwork. SSRT has expectations that will be monitored by teachers, department chairs, and administrators. We expect that you get an SSRT pass from one of your classroom teachers prior to SSRT. You cannot work in unsupervised areas, including cafeterias, hallways, commons, or visit the Carmel Cafe. You cannot visit vending machines, and you cannot leave SSRT until the bell rings for the first academic session. And once you are with a teacher, you need to stay with them for the entirety of that session. This is one of the most beneficial resources you have at Carmel High School. If you cannot follow those expectations, we can revoke your SSRT pass privileges, which we do not want to do. We're going to leave you with your SSRT teachers going into more detail about that and what you can expect from them in their classroom this year. We wish you the best of school years. Have a great 2022-23 school year, and let any of us know if you need help.